Prostitution is called the world's oldest profession, but not many people know very much about it, other than what the job entails. Most people wouldn't be able to tell you that prostitution is also one of the most dangerous jobs, such that the murder rate for an American prostitute is 204 out of 100,000. Or that sex trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry in the world, just next to cocaine. Over 2.5 million victims are currently being trafficked. This documentary will provide some insight to the industry and make you more knowledgeable on the subject about the plight these women face.
Nasa tao yun kung paano niya sabihin na natin titignan yung prostitution and kung paano siya magiging bad in a way.
Well, it's illegal, so it shouldn't be done.
Para sa akin, trabaho rin siya, kailangan may mga lisensya dapat silang hawak.
It is considered universally the oldest profession. In the Philippines, prostitution is normally associated with poverty.
Siguro may mga tao hindi mapakali sa isa o masyadong sawain na.
Probably hindi siguro sila gwapo para mga babae, or probably masyado lang silang makate.
Para sa akin, parang kung sana maligaw na lang sila, di ba?
Sabi kasi nila, variety is the spice of life.
Ate, bakit ko kayo napasok sa ganitong trabaho?
Kasi kailangan panggatas eh. Para sa panggatas araw-araw, pangupahan, tapos pambayad sa tubig, lahat.
I guess yung mga prostitutes, they're just people trying to get money. I mean, I don't think they really want to do that unless they are nymphomaniacs. So, I guess they just need something to...
For me kasi sinasabi ng iba kasi prostitution dahil wala na silang mapuntahan. Wala na silang alam na trabaho. Hindi yun eh. I think it's by choice eh. Kasi alam mo yun, pwede ka mag-factory worker. Maraming work. Hindi lang prostitution. Siguro, yung pinipida kasi that's the easiest for them. Ha? Alam mo yun?
Mahirap naman humusga.
So people are believed to get into prostitution because they are poor, they don't have a permanent source of income, they wanted an immediate income.
Mga ilang taon na ho kayo nasa ganitong...
Ngayon, mga 3 years.
3 years na. Okay lang ho sa inyo yung ganitong trabaho sa tingin ko?
Wala tayong mga madali itong pera kasi masakit dahil siyempre hindi mo naman mahal, tapos ganito, trabaho mo. Bokbok ka lang, siyempre.
Masakit ito, bakit?
Masakit dahil siyempre hindi mo naman mahal, tapos ganito, trabaho mo. Bokbok ka lang, siyempre. Tapos yung pa masakit pa pag hinuli ka pa.
Paanong hinuli po?
Siyempre, rape. Ganon.
Well, the government, in partnership with non-government institutions or organizations, have tried its best to address prostitution. They work hand in hand with authorities, for instance, the police. They normally do some raids or round up in some establishments where it's believed to be handling or protecting commercial sex workers. But the thing is, the government can only do so much. After the raid, once they are released, and they still go back to the trade. Why? Because the government cannot really provide what is needed exactly by this.
May endorse ba siya? Parang masasuggest niya ba siya sa ibang kaibigan, gano'n?
Ay hindi na kasi kung sa baga kukuha ka lang din lalo't dadami na lang din kami.
In terms of social problems that we can associate with prostitution, one is health. Second is family disintegration. And third is the loss of morale in a particular society. First, the health concern. If prostitution will proliferate, we fear the possibility of spreading disease among people who get in contact with people who are into commercial sex work, or the ones that we call the prostitutes. we fear the possibility of spreading disease among people who get in contact with people who are into commercial sex work, or the ones that we call the prostitutes.
Check up siya ngayon. Then mayroon siya ng customer nung gabi. And nung gabi yun, yung customer niya may STD or may VD or may AIDS. After a week pa siya ulit magpapacheck up. Or after a month. So paano nila yung mga naging customers niya from then? Sabihin, bago ako check up, okay ako. Pero may nangyari na sa kanila nung may sakit. So the may sakit and the guys before, after that, sa pool na rin, diba? So siguro, yun nga. Pwede na yan, monthly check-ups plus talagang, alam mo yun, impose nila yung condoms. Alam mo yun?
Yeah.
Tsaka hindi alam ng guys, mas maganda yung doblehin mo. It will desensitize you, so parang mas matagal. Yeah.
So, what do you think of yung mga prostitutes mismo?
For me kasi sinasabi ng iba kasi prostitution dahil wala na silang mapuntahan. Wala na silang alam ng trabaho. Hindi yun eh. I think it's by choice eh. Kasi alam mo yun, pwede ka mag-factory worker. Maraming work. Hindi lang prostitution. Siguro, yung pinipila kasi that's the easiest for them. For them ha. Alam mo yun?
Right now, we have an increasing number of people, the Filipinos, who are infected or who have been diagnosed with HIV. Second, I was mentioning family disintegration. There are people who got involved with commercial sex workers or the prostitutes, and definitely this has an impact in their family. Third, I mentioned the loss of morale among the people. If people would see that prostitution is tolerated in society, more or less they would have the feeling that it's like the people have already lost their sense of the human dignity. When you patronize that kind of service that they provide, it also means you're tolerating the trade, which is not supposed to be the case. If you wanted to have the person, bring him out or bring her out of that particular environment, and if you patronize that means you're also telling the commercial sex workers that this is just okay. You earn, and at the same time, I get the kind of service that I want. So it's not at all a healthy relationship. Well, the prostitutes would be happy with you because they earn from the transaction. But one primarily is trying to understand their situation. There are instances when it's so easy for us to condemn people who having been into prostitution, but they have their reasons to be there. We can only, what we can do is try to understand their situation. Second, if we can do something for them, like if we can offer them a more established source of income, try to let them know that we can still do something about the situation, then I think that would be much better. There are NGOs, there are non-government organizations or institutions which are directly working for the welfare of the commercial sex workers. There are those who provide medical services so that they can be assessed in terms of their health conditions. There are a lot of individuals also who try in their own little ways to do something for them so that these individuals, both the male and the female commercial sex workers, would be able to rise under their current situation and have a new life.
Ano pa ho sa tingin niyo ang pwedeng alternative kung meron man?
Pwede magbago, depende. Depende sa buhay. Sacrifice, kung dito ka na mamamatay, kung namatay na, kung mabubuhay, di swerte.
Pero mas gugustuhin niyo talaga na may ibang trabaho?
Naman, kahit naman sino, kahit naman ibang tao, kahit naman makakasama ko rito.
As a profession?
I-legalize nila kung gusto nilang i-legalize. Why? Kasi, pag nilegalize mo yung prostitution, marami ng ano yun eh. Parang, sige, bago ka maging legal na prostitute, diba? Parang mga license, na alam ko Manila ginagawa yun, pero kailangan i-strengthen nila. Kung i-legalize nila, pero kailangan siguro, hindi naman kasi enough din yung monthly na check-up.
I wish for prostitution. Well, I don't wish it to be legalized, that's one. I guess siguro they just find a program so that yung mga girls who you know happens to be partaking in this would find different ways to earn money, or you know they would avoid yung mga like illegal recruiters promising them work tapos yung pala prostitute. I guess they have to find ways na, you know, they won't be in that profession.
And I hope that someday they would be able to find a more stable job. They would be able to emotionally and psychologically recover from this experience, because it's not an easy one. They really have to be helped or be assisted. I mean, primarily from the economic perspective. We have to address why they are there. And by being able to really identify the primary cause of their being there, I think we can help them. I even had the opportunity to work with them during my college days, and when I was doing my thesis. I'm referring to the male prostitutes, and I also had some informal conversation with the female sex workers some years back.
So what were they like?
Well, for them, it's primarily their way of coping with the economic situation. So some of them actually are married, they have children to feed, so they really have to earn.
So alam po ng mga asawa po nila?
Yeah, some are familiar or they are aware of what the husband or the wife was doing, but some were trying to hide it from their families.
So, wala po silang plans on telling their families?
Well, for those who were trying to keep it a secret, they said as much as possible they wouldn't want their being commercial sex workers to be discovered by their families. But I am afraid for how long can they do that?
So there's always some story po about
Oh yes, and that's a big concern. Because they're also aware that the family will not be able to simply accept the fact that they are into such kind of trade.
And for
well, what I found out during those times that I was with them, that as long as they are still accepted in the trade, that means they would still be able to find clients or customers, as we would call them. They would still stay in the trade. But at the same time, they're also worried about their health, they're also worried about their family. So they were saying that if they only could find an alternative and a more stable job or source of income, they were willing to leave. Every decision that we make is our personal decision. No matter what happens, it is always ourselves that we point at, or we could blame for whatever negative decision that we make. There are always things that there are other things, if I may say, that we can resort to. But of course, I can only speak for myself. At the same time, I don't want to condemn or say that the prostitutes are not good people or that they are bad. They have the reasons to be there. But I would also like to believe that they could try other ways or other means of surviving instead of just telling themselves, oh, there's nothing more that I can do. Something that happened to me in the past, and I don't think I could still move on or could still go on. So
The problem doesn't rest squarely on the prostitutes and their choice of living. It also doesn't lie alone in the government's hands or poverty, not even from the free will of the prostitutes themselves. The problem lies in the attractiveness of sex as an accommodation. Prostitution in itself is immoral because it does not give respect to the human body, nor does it attempt to attain the human person's main goal, which is happiness. What gives it justification, at least for them, however, is the prostitutes' need for easy money to support themselves and their families, a cost that is inherently good in itself. Prostitution might be lessened if not for government corruption or poverty ailing a lot of people. Therefore, in the end, the answer to the question, is prostitution immoral, becomes subjective, as different prostitutes have differing degrees of difficult situations as to why they would resort to such a self-degrading job. Nonetheless, the government should do their part in alleviating the problem.